Here is your General Hospital spoiler sneak peek video for Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. When General Hospital returns after a baseball break, young James West will have the most exciting day of his life when he meets a man he is told is his father. This man, who is calling himself Nathan, has a keen interest in James, but Britt doesn't seem to think it's a good idea for James to meet him. Britt lets Spinelli know how she feels, and wonders if Maxie would have thought this was a good idea for James's emotional health. When an exhausted Alexis lies down on her couch for a little power nap, she wakes up to find Rick above her. He has broken free and is holding the dagger that killed Alexis's mother to Alexis's neck. It's a good thing that Ava is set to have good timing. If she forgot something at Alexis's house and walks back in at the right time, she will save Alexis's life as long as she has a paperweight handy. This would put Alexis forever in her debt. Maybe? As Michael once again insists to Tracy that he did not shoot Drew despite being outside his house that night, Tracy is not quite sure she believes her nephew. Michael tells her to go to the police if she is sure that he is lying. We all know Tracy would never do such a thing. As for the police, Anna questions Carly about the shooting, as she does not believe Carly's alibi at all. Of course, Jack Brennan would lie for his girlfriend. Carly is incredulous and tells Anna to stop looking at the obvious suspects. Monica's sister is still furious after her meeting with Tracy in the Quartermain crypt, so she makes her way to the hospital and the memorial wall. That's where Veronica Bard makes the acquaintance of Sonny Corinthos. Sonny is fascinated to meet one of Monica's relatives, especially when she tells him that she's not about to be bullied by the likes of Tracy Quartermain. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Here's your General Hospital recap for Monday, September 29th, 2025. Britt seems to know something about Nathan that no one else does on General Hospital. Image, ABC. In the Quartermain crypt, Tracy was surprised by a woman who said she was there to pay final respects to Monica. It shocked Tracy that the woman turned out to be Monica's younger sister, Veronica Bard. Tracy said she had known of Ronnie as she had had Monica investigated before she married Alan, but Monica never talked about her sister. This information surprised Ronnie, but she said that they had been estranged for most of their lives. That said, Ronnie told Tracy that her relationship with Monica had improved before she died. Ronnie explained that she and Monica had been writing to one another for the past year or so, after Monica had reached out with a letter to her. Tracy remained skeptical and wanted to see proof, noting, "You haven't darkened her doorstep in over 50 years, and yet, as soon as you get wind of the fact that she's died, you're circling like a vulture." She wanted to know why Ronnie was really there. Tracy did her best to insult Ronnie and get her to leave, but Ronnie said she wanted to meet her family and give her condolences. Tracy told her the family was nothing to her and she was nothing to them. Ronnie said Tracy didn't know her, was making a lot of false assumptions about her, and also didn't know Monica as well as she thought. Tracy reiterated that Monica didn't mention Ronnie's name once in the 45 years she knew her. Ronnie told Tracy she was everything Monica said Tracy was, and it wasn't flattering. Ronnie divulged that she and Monica were separated as children in foster care. She said they didn't reconnect until they were young women, and Monica was married to her first husband, interning in medicine, and building a life that was a far cry from the one they grew up in. By then, Ronnie said Monica didn't have any room for her in her life, and they both said things they regretted. She said life took them on different paths, but she was proud of not asking for help or needing her sister for anything. Tracy didn't believe anything Ronnie was saying. Defensively, Ronnie said she didn't need to convince Tracy or anyone else of anything. She claimed to be there to honor her sister, whom she wished she had reconnected with sooner. Tracy said, "Monica Bard may have been your sister, but the little girl you remember grew up to be doctors, Monica Quartermain, who was a skilled surgeon and pillar of the community." Then, Tracy declared there was no room for Ronnie and Monica's family's future. In her letters to Ronnie, Monica said Tracy as aggressive and abrasive, and attributed those qualities to Tracy's father, but had also claimed Tracy had her mother's heart. Ronnie called Tracy entitled and cold, so Tracy told her to leave. Before she walked out, Ronnie cautioned, "You know, Tracy, masks have a tendency to slip, and I suspect that you might not be entitled to everything you think you are. My sincere condolences on this very sad day." Christina and Molly came to the Quartermain mansion to see Michael. He caught them off guard when he brought them into the living room and introduced them to Jacinda. Michael told them she was there to offer her condolences for Monica. Jacinda played it cool as Christina and Molly remained a bit gobsmacked. Christina took Michael into the foyer, asked if he was on a date the day of his grandmother's funeral, and if he knew who Jacinda was. Michael said Jacinda was just with Drew that one night, and it was just business. He also said he and Jacinda were just friends, but Christina was concerned that he could be Jacinda's next mark. Michael assured her that he had everything under control. In the living room, Molly and Jacinda sat to talk. When Molly asked if she and Michael were dating, Jacinda said they were getting to know each other. Christina came in with Michael and told Molly they should head out. After they left, Jacinda told Michael she wasn't sure if Molly and Christina bought their ruse. Regardless, Jacinda was happy she could try to help and have a chance to offer her condolences. Ultimately, she thought his grandmother would want him to do what was needed to get out of the situation. He hoped it was enough because he felt like his alibi wouldn't hold up under scrutiny. Spinelli and Felicia took James to Bobby's. James was sad and missing his mom. While James was at the counter, Spinelli told Felicia that he wasn't sure how to tell James about his father. When James returned to the table, he was concerned about their demeanor and asked if something had happened to his mother. They assured him that his mom was okay, but he could sense something was off. Spinelli told him about his father being alive. James was confused as he thought his dad was in heaven. Spinelli said they all thought his dad was in heaven too, but they were wrong. Felicia said she had seen and talked to Nathan. Spinelli comforted James by telling him they were all in it together. After they left the Quartermains, Molly and Christina went to Bobby's. Molly had quickly figured out that Michael inviting them over while Jacinda was there was a setup to secure his alibi. At the hospital, Willow introduced herself to Nathan, explaining that she was his niece. She talked about the shock of finding out Nina was her mother, and told him she was alive because of Liesl's bone marrow transplant. Nathan seemed happy to meet her and wanted to see James too. Meanwhile, Nina met with Liesl and Britt at the nurse's station to tell them Nathan was alive. Liesl wanted to see for herself before she would believe it. Britt seemed stunned, but not surprised. Nina led them to Nathan's room and found herself face to face with Willow when she opened the door. Liesl entered the room and hugged Nathan as Britt watched from the doorway. He told Liesl that he had no recollection of where he'd been. Liesl told Nathan about James, and he said he wanted to meet him as soon as he could. Britt interrupted, said they needed to let Nathan rest. Liesl wouldn't let Britt leave the room without hugging Nathan. Britt maintained a stoic face when she hugged him and welcomed him back. Although Nathan smiled, he didn't respond and just watched Britt as she walked away. As Liesl and Britt got to the elevators, Spinelli and Felicia arrived with James. Britt looked afraid when she realized the boy was there to meet Nathan. Back at the nurse's hub, Nina tried to ask Willow for a truce, but she wanted nothing to do with her. Nina reminded Willow that they needed each other as their alibis. Willow acted as if she didn't need one, and just Nina did. Willow claimed that because Drew used Nina for sex and threw her away, that gave her ample motive to shoot him. Nina fired back that Drew was instrumental in Willow losing her children, which was a damn good reason to shoot someone too. At the PCPD, Anna reviewed her board of suspects for Drew's shooting. Acting DA Turner came into Anna's office for an update on the investigation. Anna said the strike marks on the bullet matched an earlier crime and pointed the evidence to an unusual suspect, the deceased Edward Quartermain. Anna knew the Quartermains still had access to Edward's guns. She felt that if Tracy wanted Drew dead, he'd be dead. Michael had plenty of motive, but Anna said they couldn't assume he did it. They continued to go through the suspect list. Turner said Carly had an alibi, but Anna said Brennan would lie for her in a heartbeat, and because she has children living on the Q estate, she, too, would have had access to Edward's weapons. Curtis, Willow, and Nina also remained on the suspect list. Anna felt they needed to quietly get a search warrant for the Quartermain estate before the family hide anything or cover for one another. In Alexis's basement, Rick awakened to find Ava hovering next to the bed. She held out a sleeping pill and told him everything would be much easier for him if he took a nice, long nap. Rick pleaded not to have to take another pill, but she commanded him to open his mouth and swallow the pill. Ava taunted Rick by talking about all of the billable hours he was missing. She told him Drew was shot, and Willow, one of his many unfortunate clients, was a prime suspect. Rick asked her again to stop holding him captive, to which Ava responded that she would, but not yet. She then proclaimed that it didn't have to be the way it was. Ava told Rick that they'd had a good thing going before and felt they were cut from the same cloth. But she said the heart wants what it wants, and his wanted Elizabeth, the fairest maiden in all of Port Charles. She claimed he was there because he got greedy, and she deserved every penny of the Cassadine money. Before Rick could fall asleep, Ava wanted him to remember that, in 10 days, all of the money you stole is going to be right back where it belongs in the Cassadine estate, minus her substantial divorce settlement, of course. She told him to cheer up because, by the time he was able to form a coherent thought again, it would all be over. Ava came into the living room when Alexis, who'd had an appointment with Anna that was canceled, arrived. They chatted about their predicament with Rick and about wanting it to be over with. Back in the basement, Rick spit out the sedative he never swallowed and began trying to loosen the duct tape around his wrists. Ava was worried Rick was going to be pushed too far. Alexis, the guy has been bludgeoned, drugged, and trussed up. He's being held captive by the ex-wife he hates, the niece he hates even more, and the ex-lover he's probably pretty displeased with, she said. Alexis felt Rick would be upset, but ultimately lick his wounds and get over it. After Ava left, Alexis had her earbuds in and was talking to Suzanne. Unbeknownst to her, Rick made it out of the basement and was standing by the stairway. On General Hospital, Jacinda Bracken is getting closer to Michael Corinthos while he needs her as an alibi for the night of Drew's shooting. They have been pretending to be friends and possibly dating since that incident. On the September 29th episode, Jacinda visited Michael at the Quartermain mansion after the family's memorial reception for Monica Quartermain. They were seen there by Christina and Molly after Michael invited him to the Q's, helping give their fake relationship more credibility. After Michael's sister and cousin left, he and Jacinda had a friendly talk about Monica, and Jacinda showed concern as she asked him if Monica would approve of Michael's scheme to give himself an alibi. Could that chat be the start of a real romance between the Aurora CEO and the sweetly manipulative escort and dealmaker? Herschel addressed that and talked a lot more about her current status on General Hospital in an interview with Soap Opera Digest. Jacinda has been a bold and confident character, going toe-to-toe with powerful Port Charles citizens such as City Councilman Ezra Boyle, Drew, Nina, and Portia. Herschel said her character sees a business opportunity with the powerful and wealthy Michael, but could be motivated by the personal relationship too. A character can be both, right? She can be money-motivated, and also there could be some chemistry there, and I think there is, Herschel told Sod. I think with Jacinda, we're quickly seeing that she has a bit of a sweeter side to her manipulative side. I think Michael brings that out in her, so we're getting to see a few more colors, and we'll see where it goes. Herschel said she loves working with Gibson, who has made her comfortable from day one. Wow, what a great scene partner, she said. He is so grounded and he's such a sweet guy. I'm a bit of a neurotic person in my life. I'm a little chaotic and all over the place. But when Rory and I have had these scenes together, he just brings me to like a calm state where we can really connect and play, and I'm very happy that it's him that I get to keep being paired with. Herschel told Sod she has auditioned for General Hospital roles several times in recent years. When she first came on the show, she had the memorable scenes with Matheson when Jacinda drugged Drew with ketamine and he did shots off of her stomach in public. Then, Jacinda took a lot of money from Nina and ran away to Australia. When that happened, Herschel assumed her time on the show was done for good. She told executive producer Frank Valentini she would love to come back, and now she is. It's unclear for how long, but Herschel posted a few videos and pictures to her Instagram stories on September 29th from the General Hospital studio, indicating she was taping then. She told Sod she enjoys playing her General Hospital character as a call girl with a heart of gold, and as someone she describes as much different from she is in real life. Herschel refers to herself as reserved and neurotic throughout the interview, and noted that the process of figuring out Jacinda and her motivations has helped her be more confident as Paige. Herschel shows that sweeter side of herself in her music side project, a swing band quartet called San Leon, which recently performed live on the ABC World News Now newscast. Herschel said Jacinda agreeing to being Michael's alibi is the character going with the flow, and she's excited to see where the story goes. Since Michael is currently single, it could definitely go romantic. General Hospital spoilers for Thursday, October 2nd, reveal that Rick Lansing will put a dagger to Alexis Davis' throat, while Britt Westbourne finds that she can't stop James West and Nathan West's first meeting. Before we dive in, we should mention that GH will be preempted for Major League Baseball coverage on Tuesday, September 30th, along with Wednesday, October 1st. There could be another preemption on Thursday, October 2nd, but that depends on the outcome of Wednesday's game. In other words, these Thursday spoilers could get pushed back a day, but we can hope for the best and talk about what's coming up in the meantime. For starters, Carly Spencer will lash out when Anna Devane puts her through an interrogation. Now that Anna knows the gun used to shoot Drew Kane was a registered part of Edward Quartermain's collection, she may point out that Carly had access because of her grandchildren. Anna may also quiz Carly about Michael Corinthos' potential involvement in the crime, but Carly will push her to just do her job and stop trying to pin this on the obvious suspects. At the hospital, Britt will seem uneasy over James meeting Nathan and will ask Damian Spinelli if he really thinks Maxie Jones would be okay with this. It's clear that Britt's uncomfortable over Nathan's return, so that may be a hint that he's not really Nathan after all, or that he's some cloned or brainwashed version of him. Elizabeth Baldwin may pick up on how weird Britt is acting, since she'll launch a confrontation with her soon enough. As for James, Britt won't be able to stop him from meeting Nathan for the first time. Nathan will smile and greet James, but he could be setting the poor kid up for heartbreak if he's not the real deal. Elsewhere, Sonny Corinthos will exchange introductions with Veronica Ronnie Bard, who'll refuse to be scared off by Tracy Quartermain. As for Michael, he'll invite Tracy to go to the cops if she's so sure he's lying. Tracy may express doubts about Michael's innocence and everything he's cooked up with Jacinda Bracken, but she'll also make a promise. That could mean Tracy will vow to keep her mouth shut about seeing Michael parked near Drew's place and plan to protect him no matter what. At Alexis's house, she's in for a shock now that Rick's escaped from his restraints in the basement. Rick just slipped upstairs undetected, so he'll ultimately use Helena Cassadine's old dagger to threaten Alexis. Alexis will be on the sofa when Rick sneaks up on her and puts that knife to her throat. It'll bring some scary moments, but GH fans can probably expect Ava Jerome to save the day. General Hospital spoilers say Ava's timing will be fantastic, so it sounds like she'll come to Alexis's rescue and perhaps bash Rick in the head again to subdue him. Ava and Alexis will have to make some updates to their strategy, but they'll consider it good news once Rick's under control again. ABC soap fans are in for a treat as One Life to Live legend Erica Slizak continues her role as Veronica Bard on General Hospital and has a fascinating encounter on Thursday. After her confrontation with Tracy, which infuriated both Veronica and Tracy, Veronica will pay a visit to the memorial wall at General Hospital, where Monica's picture now hangs. She runs into Sonny there, and they begin to chat. Veronica is still smarting after her tension-filled conversation with Tracy, and tells Sonny that she is not about to let Tracy Quartermain get the best of her. Slizak, who is bringing this brand new member of Monica's family to life, was no stranger to GH, as she watched it at the One Life to Live studios as routine. Thanks to Slizak's husband, she was also no stranger to Sonny. For all the years I was on One Life, we had a monitor in the makeup room, and every time you went in or out, ABC was on, Slizak told TV Insider. And I used to watch General Hospital during makeup or whatever, so I knew all the characters. After the show went off the air in 2012, I didn't really watch, but my husband, who never ever watched One Life to Live, started watching General Hospital off and on. About a year ago, I said, "Really? You're watching GH? You never watched One Life to Live." He said, "Well, I have to find out what's happening to Sonny." When Slezak finally met Maurice Bernard, she had to report back to her husband. "He laughed," Slezak relayed. "I called home the second day I worked with Maurice, and I said, 'Brian, he's a really nice man, very calm, very gentle. He's not Sonny at all.'" Jenny. Slezak is only set to appear on General Hospital for a few weeks as part of a brief story arc. While she loved her time on a soap set again, she has adjusted to a life of leisure over the last dozen years, which she's happy to get back to. "It's been fun to do it now for 3 weeks, but I'll be glad to go home," she said. "I was on the air on One Life for 42 years, and I had a routine. I knew when to get up in the morning, and I knew what day it was only because I knew what days I was working. And when it stopped, well, every day is Saturday when you're not working, and it's a real adjustment to make. So, this is fun to do for a short time. I don't know that I would want to do it for a longer time, unless it were in New York." General Hospital spoilers suggest that there's a good chance that Britt Westbourne has known her brother, Nathan West, was alive this whole time, and a new scene offers further evidence to this fact. Since Britt's return to the canvas and the announcement that Nathan was coming back, fans have been buzzing at the idea that the Britch has been in the know about this. In fact, Nathan might be the very reason Britt agreed to fake her own demise in the first place, even though she's stated other reasons. General Hospital's weekly promo video has been dropped, and it offers plenty of insights into the drama that's set to unfold over the next 5 days. The preview opened with Nina Reeves informing Liesl Obrecht that her son was alive. Fans could tell in the clip shown that Liesl doesn't believe Nina's words until she walks into Nathan's room and sees him for herself. In the promo, Liesl immediately gets emotional after locking eyes with Nathan, and Britt can be seen in the background, lingering in the hallway, waiting for her reunion with her brother as well. Although from the look on Britt's face, she almost seems nervous and guilty, rather than anxiously anticipating seeing her brother alive, someone she thought was dead for 7 years. Is this her reaction because she's known Nathan has been alive all this time? Is she mentally preparing herself for Liesl's reaction because she knows the truth? Did she hang back to prep her fake surprise face in hopes she'll be able to fool her mom? The only advantage Britt has in knowing about Nathan is the fact that he has memory loss over what's happened to him in the last 7 years. Also, it's peculiar that Britt is standing behind her mother, rather than being there with Liesl front and center, to see if what Nina is saying is factual. Britt is the type of person who likes to see things with her own eyes, so not being next to her mother raises red flags. Sure, Liesl and Britt aren't on the best of terms, but Nathan has nothing to do with this. It seems more than odd that Britt hung back in the hallway and didn't want to be one of the first to see Nathan, especially since Liesl seemed skeptical in the promo. General Hospital spoilers reveal that all arrows are pointing to the idea that Britt knew her brother was alive this entire time, and that Cesar Faison may be miraculously alive too, and somehow involved. The biggest question is why, but fans are sure to learn more about this as the story continues to unfold. General Hospital spoilers for September 29th through October 10th cover Michael Corinthos' panic and Nathan West finally meeting his namesake son, James West. On Monday, September 29th, Tracy Quartermain is unhappy to find a mystery woman, Veronica Ronnie Bard, in the family crypt. Ronnie, reportedly Monica Quartermain's biological sister, may be trying to claim the Quartermain estate. Ava Jerome offers to help Rick Lansing, possibly by drugging him, as he's uncooperative. Michael is worried about being arrested for Drew Kane's shooting, especially since he was nearby. Jacinda Bracken, a witness, isn't sure the police believe her story. Anna Devane discovers new evidence, suggesting Drew might claim he regained his memory and that Michael shot him. Meanwhile, Nina Reeves and Willow Tate argue at the hospital. Willow meets her uncle, Nathan, and Nina worries she might speak negatively about her. Nina also has difficult news for Liesl Obrecht and Britt Westbourne, stating they'll need each other to get through something related to Nathan. Liesl is overjoyed to be at Nathan's bedside after a presumed 7-year absence. Alexis Davis is in danger, and Ava might intervene. Felicia Scorpio insists James has a right to know and meet his father, Nathan, despite Damian Spinelli's potential unhappiness, especially with Maxie Jones in a coma. On Tuesday, September 30th, Sonny Corinthos has a realization, and Carly Corinthos is questioned, possibly about Drew's shooting, as she had threatened him. Elizabeth Baldwin confronts Britt, likely about her faked death, and return to the hospital. Ava arrives just in time, possibly to help Alexis with her alibi or with Rick Lansing. Ava and Alexis later chat at Alexis's home. Tracy vows to prevent Ronnie from acquiring the Quartermain estate, a topic heavily discussed in relation to Monica's house and her memorial. Wednesday, October 1st, brings the reading of Monica's will, causing significant repercussions. Drew is furious, likely due to his inheritance from the will. Isaiah Gannon searches for Portia Robinson, potentially to act on her romantic offer. Britt is in shock, possibly receiving a message from her mystery boss. The episode also questions if Britt knew Nathan was alive, noting the coincidence of both her and her brother returning from the dead. Jocelyn Jacks returns to Port Charles, and viewers anticipate her and Jack Brennan potentially sneaking around behind his back. On Thursday, October 2nd, Gio Palmieri makes a significant decision, possibly about moving back into the Q mansion, showing signs of reconciliation with Brooklyn Quartermain and Dante Falconeri. Anna and Harrison Chase have a search warrant, likely related to the shooting and a planted gun, with Gen Z Sidwell being a prime suspect. Britt is prepared for tough negotiations. Alexis issues a warning to Sonny, potentially concerning Drew, Rick, or others. Christina Corinthos Davis and Portia receive life-changing news, possibly Trina informing her mother that Drew can no longer blackmail her, as the leverage has been removed. Friday, October 3rd, features Curtis Ashford discussing a theory with Portia, possibly about Drew's shooting or her new relationship with a doctor. Carly seeks out Elizabeth, perhaps to blame her for an earlier interrogation. Joss meets with her WSB boss, Brennan, hinting at a new assignment. Chase reveals information, potentially about bribery evidence found in Drew's safe. Willow is distraught, and discovering Drew's implication in the judge's bribe and potentially her death would be a major blow, especially as she relied on him to regain custody of her children. The week of October 6th to 10th sees Willow strategizing her next move, possibly seeking to sabotage Michael or fully supporting Drew's accusation against him to aid her custody case. Joss adjusts to life at home with a less defined WSB assignment. Drew plots revenge against the Quartermains, Michael, and others in Port Charles. Portia moves on, ending her marriage to Curtis and pursuing a relationship with a doctor, likely Isaiah. The narrative questions Curtis's reaction if he were to pursue a relationship with Jordan Ashford. Sonny contemplates his next move, wanting to protect Michael. Nathan finally meets his son James, named in his honor. It's poignant that Maxie is in a coma during this reunion, with her return not expected until 26. Felicia ensures James meets his father. Britt and Liesl have many questions, and Britt's mystery boss contacts her again. An arrest may be made in Drew's shooting, though likely not the actual perpetrator. Ronnie plans to stake her claim, possibly represented by Martin Gray. General Hospital, spoilers for Thursday, October 2nd, reveal that Rick Lansing will put a dagger to Alexis Davis's throat, while Britt Westbourne finds that she can't stop James West and Nathan West's first meeting. Ava and Alexis will have to make some updates to their strategy, but they'll consider it good news once Rick's under control again. In Port Charles, even the most meticulously crafted plans have a way of exploding. For Alexis Davis and Ava Jerome, their conspiracy to lock Rick away in a basement was supposed to be a final, desperate solution. They believed they had every angle covered, every contingency planned. In their minds, Rick would be neutralized, a problem hidden from the world, until he could be handed over on their terms, protecting Christina from the fallout of her own dangerous actions. But in their arrogance, they made one fatal miscalculation. They underestimated the man they chained in the dark. While they believed him broken and sedated, Rick was a predator in waiting. Stripped of his freedom, he held on to the one weapon they couldn't take: his mind. Every hushed argument that drifted downstairs, every moment of carelessness, was catalogued and analyzed. His confinement did not weaken him. It distilled his rage into a singular, cold resolve. He wasn't just planning to escape. He was planning to make them pay for every moment of his humiliation. His opportunity came not through a grand scheme, but through a sliver of negligence, a door left unlatched. Rick seized it with lethal precision, melting into the night and leaving behind nothing but a chilling vacuum of dread. The immediate aftermath was not a dramatic confrontation, but a suffocating silence. The roles had been reversed with terrifying speed. No longer the prisoner, Rick became the unseen tormentor, and his former captors became prisoners in their own lives, haunted by the certainty of his inevitable return. Rick's retribution has been a masterclass in cruelty, tailored to inflict maximum damage on each woman's psyche. For Alexis, the attack is deeply personal and psychological. She is stalked by shadows in her own home, the creak of a floorboard sending her into a panic. Her confidence, once her greatest asset, has been systematically dismantled, leaving her a trembling wreck, jumping at every sound. Rick is forcing her to feel the suffocating paranoia he endured, turning her sanctuary into a torture chamber. For Ava, the assault is public and professional. Rick knows her power is tied to her reputation and her empire, so he has targeted them with surgical precision. Through carefully planted rumors and anonymous leaks, he has implicated her in financial crimes, causing her allies to scatter and her enemies to circle. The untouchable Queen of Port Charles is now watching her kingdom crumble piece by piece, betrayed by the very people she once controlled. Rick's brilliance lies not in swift action, but in a slow, agonizing burn. He isn't just seeking to destroy them, he's forcing them to live his nightmare. With Alexis's sanity fraying and Ava's empire in ashes, the question on everyone's mind is not if Rick will strike the final blow, but when, and who else will be caught in the crossfire of his devastating revenge. Port Charles, NYA's. For Dr. Portia Robinson, the co-chief of staff at General Hospital, control isn't just a preference, it's a survival mechanism. But this week, her meticulously ordered world has been fractured by two faint lines on a pregnancy test. The discovery sent a chill through Portia, not of joy, but of quiet panic. A quick glance at her nearly full birth control pack confirmed her worst fear. In the chaos of her demanding career, she had made a critical error. Now, she's staring down a familiar, haunting crisis that threatens to unravel her career, her family, and her very identity. History, it seems, is repeating itself in the most devastating way. Years after the truth about Trina's paternity rocked her world, Portia is once again trapped in a web of uncertainty. Within an agonizingly narrow time frame, she was intimate with two different men: her estranged husband, Curtis Ashford, and her subordinate, Dr. Isaiah. The timeline is too close to call, leaving Portia with an impossible choice and a secret that could destroy her. On one hand, there is Curtis. Their marriage has become a hollow shell, filled with therapy sessions and failed attempts at reconciliation. Naming him the father is the safe play, the socially acceptable narrative that would shield her from judgment and protect her standing at the hospital. He is, in the eyes of Port Charles, the logical choice. On the other hand, there is Isaiah. Their connection was a spark of life in the darkness of her failing marriage, a spontaneous and electric moment of feeling seen. But a relationship with a subordinate would be professional suicide, giving her political rivals, like a resentful Drew Kane, the ammunition needed to dismantle her authority. Faced with personal and professional ruin, Portia does what she does best. She operates. With the cold precision of a surgeon, she makes a calculated decision to construct a new reality. Curtis will be the father, and every piece of evidence will be curated to support that story. She immediately begins building a fortress of lies, seeking prenatal care at a clinic outside of Port Charles under a false name, meticulously aligning her medical records with a timeline that points exclusively to Curtis, and choreographing public appearances with her husband to sell the illusion of a couple reuniting over a miracle baby. Her strategy extends to the hospital corridors, where she masterfully transforms her pregnancy from a vulnerability into a weapon. By championing new policies for pregnant staff and improving family care resources, she burnishes her public image as a progressive leader. She becomes an icon of resilience, making it politically toxic for Drew or anyone else to challenge her. Meanwhile, she erects a professional firewall around Isaiah, reducing their interactions to sterile, impersonal emails and group meetings. Every warm glance is ignored, every private request denied. While Curtis plays the part of the bewildered but dutiful father-to-be, Isaiah is left in the dark, nursing the memory of a connection Portia must now pretend never happened. But as her body changes, the weight of her deception grows heavier. The memory of Trina's pain is a constant ghost, reminding her of the damage that secrets can inflict. In the quiet hours of the night, Portia knows her carefully constructed world is a house of cards. For now, her plan is holding. But in Port Charles, the truth has a way of performing its own surgery, and when the secret is finally exposed, the fallout will be catastrophic. In a move that has both shocked and inspired fans, Asher, the young actor who plays Danny on General Hospital, has announced his temporary departure from the show, and the reason behind it is nothing short of courageous. Asher, still early in his blossoming career, has chosen to step away from the spotlight to focus on something deeply personal and vitally important: his mental health. More specifically, his ongoing battle with ADHD. For years, fans have watched Asher grow up on screen. Many saw him as a bright, talented young actor, full of charm and natural charisma. But behind the scenes, Asher was fighting a quieter battle, one that demanded more than just resilience. It required honesty, vulnerability, and the kind of strength that doesn't come from fame or applause. According to a statement shared with the show's producers, and later confirmed by his family, Asher made the heartfelt decision to step back and begin focused treatment for ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It's a condition that impacts millions, yet often remains misunderstood, especially when it comes to high-performing young individuals in the public eye. Asher opened up about his struggles with focus, emotional regulation, and impulsivity. For a child actor working under the pressure of scripts, long shoot days, and constant public attention, these symptoms became more than a challenge. They became a burden he could no longer carry in silence. "I couldn't keep pretending I was okay when I wasn't," he shared. "Sometimes, just remembering my lines felt like climbing a mountain. I want to get better, not just for the show, but for me." That one simple sentence struck a chord with fans everywhere. While some were initially heartbroken by the news, the overwhelming response has been one of support, respect, and admiration. Social media has exploded with messages of encouragement, personal stories from fans who also live with ADHD, and tributes to Asher's bravery. On General Hospital, Drew Kane has been circling his own shooting mystery like a man determined to crack the case, even if it means pointing the finger at his own family and lying. Instead of asking who would want to shoot him, the bigger question seems to be who wouldn't. Between Sonny's enemies, Willow's grudges, and Michael's murky motives, Drew has no shortage of suspects. Anna has been whittling down the list of possible suspects, and everyone's on edge. But when it comes to what's really going on in his head, Matheson admitted his alter ego is keeping him guessing too. Speaking to Soaps, General Hospital's Cameron Matheson admitted that Drew's paranoia doesn't come from nowhere. "There's a big part of him that actually believes Michael shot him," he explained, noting that while the evidence isn't airtight, it's enough for Drew to latch onto. He's also quick to point out that the trail of possible motives is wider than anyone expected. Portia and Curtis? Possible. Even Willow could be on the list, given how she no longer trusts him and just wants to use him to get her kids back. The tangled web is only made messier by Drew's sense of betrayal. As Matheson put it, Sidwell paid off the judge and made it look like Sonny. But Sonny found out and somehow got the wire transfer put into Drew's safe to make him look guilty. The actor reminded fans that the always awesome Britt played his part in that twist, leaving Drew with plenty of reason to feel like he's being set up on all sides. The General Hospital star stated that Drew probably feels that Michael is the culprit, knowing full well that the police would eventually find the incriminating wire transfer at the crime scene. He noted that Sonny would benefit greatly if Drew looked like he killed Judge Heron. As a result, Matheson explained, so in Drew's mind, there's a lot of evidence pointing to Michael. What makes Drew so tricky to play, Matheson stated, is that he's not entirely wrong, but he's also not entirely right. For example, motives come to light, which makes Portia and Curtis look guilty. And it could easily be them, he stated, noting that Willow has every reason to want Drew dead. That instability is part of what keeps Matheson energized on set. One minute, Drew thinks he's uncovered a conspiracy, and the next, he's reaching hard to make Michael look guilty. That strategy comes with risks, though, because the real shooter still walks in Port Charles and could attack again while Drew is preoccupied with laying blame. But ultimately, Matheson feels that the uncertainty has made playing General Hospital's Drew one of his most unpredictable and rewarding roles yet. Port Charles is bracing for an explosive week as long-buried secrets resurface and new threats emerge. From a miraculous return that sends shockwaves through multiple families to a mysterious stranger at the Quartermain crypt, the drama on General Hospital is hitting a fever pitch this Tuesday, September 30th. The stunning return of Nathan West from the dead is set to unravel the lives of those he left behind. The most immediate challenge is how to tell his young son, James. While a protective Felicia Scorpio argues for the truth, Damian Spinelli fears the revelation will shatter the boy's world. Spinelli's anxiety is twofold. Not only is he worried for James, but he's terrified that Nathan's return could spell the end of his own future with Maxie Jones, should she awaken from her coma. Nathan's re-entry also forges new alliances and rivalries. He quickly learns he's an uncle to Willow Tate, who briefs him on the heartbreaking family history involving Nina Reeves and the villainous Nell Benson. Vowing to protect his family, Nathan is poised for a collision course with Drew Kane, whose influence over Willow has caused Nina endless pain. Spoilers suggest Nathan will waste no time confronting Drew, setting the stage for a bitter rivalry between two of Port Charles's alpha males. Meanwhile, suspicion is brewing at the historic Quartermain crypt. A poised newcomer named Veronica Ronnie Bard arrives, claiming she's merely paying respects to the family's legacy. However, Tracy Quartermain's sharp instincts tell her there's more to the story. Is Veronica a long-lost heir with a claim to the family fortune, or is she after something far more sinister? Elsewhere, danger lurks as Alexis Davis finds herself in peril with the volatile Rick Lansing, whose escape attempt could turn deadly. And as Michael Corinthos scrambles to solidify a shaky alibi, Anna Devane receives a pivotal tip that could finally crack the case of Drew Kane's shooting. Amid the chaos, a quiet moment at Monica Quartermain's funeral has ignited hope for one of the show's most beloved super couples. As a eulogy celebrated the enduring nature of true love, the camera tellingly focused on a lingering, meaningful glance between Dante Falconeri and Lulu Spencer. Fans immediately erupted online, taking the loaded moment as a sign that a Lante reunion may finally be on the horizon, despite the pair's insistence on a platonic co-parenting relationship. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.